What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to review number 1 Sentai Gozyuger Polar Beginning. Now before I begin, because I will summarize the side story, there might be some spoilers, so even though I guess it's been months already since the side story came out, if you haven't seen it yet, then I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch it first before continuing on with this video. Otherwise, enjoy. Alright? So, the side story begins with Mashiro walking around town and he sees, a giant screen on a building, and there's news where a young woman is featured, and apparently, she won a Nobel Peace Prize. And kind of seeing that young woman, Mashiro reminisces on the past when he was still Goju Wolf. Now we all know that Mashiro was the original Goju Wolf, but we haven't really explored that much other than that one flashback in episode 27 where he was interacting with the original Goju Leon. So now we see more of that past in this side story. Now, we go back to 2005. So, we see Mashiro, apparently he was already looking the same as he was. So probably thanks to winning the number 1 battle, again, gathering all the rings and making his wish. So it apparently maintained his appearance as it was 20 years ago. So again, thanks to him becoming a god, perhaps. So we see Mashiro trying to apparently beat up the universe Abared in that scenario, and Tegasword says he criticizes basically Mashiro for being too brutal and aggressive, but Mashiro just brushes it off and says, well, as long as I win, basically, as long as I win, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's his whole thing. But eventually, so Mashiro comes across the other Gozyugers of that time. So we are introduced to Seiya Aoto, the original Goju Leon. So in episode 27, he was not yet named as a character, simply known as the first or original Goju Leon. But now we have a full name. So again, it's Seiya Aoto. So basically, he is, an all-around good guy, trying to do good in the world, probably. And then we are also introduced to Naoto Kitora, Naoto Kitora. So he is basically a champion mixed martial artist, and again, he is the Goju Tirano of the group. Next, we are introduced to Midoriko Itokiri, a 10-year-old girl who transforms into Goju Eagle. So again, she is the youngest, one of the youngest rangers in history, and technically the last female Green Ranger of Super Sentai, considering again Gozyuger was the final entry in the Super Sentai series, at least for now. So again, she transforms into Goju Eagle. What's interesting is she does grow taller like Kiba Ranger. However, the suit still is the same as the one Kinjiro used as Goju Eagle. So it's not modified to look feminine, adding a skirt or something, despite again technically being a female ranger at that time. So last, we are introduced to Misaki Kurobane. So she is the Goju unicorn of the group. So Misaki is a fortune teller who also doubles as an assassin. So they eventually come together as a group, and they basically the other Gozyugers were kind of running this not necessarily like orphanage, but they were also taking care of like um, children who are either like abandoned or like nobody's taking care of them. And basically I believe this is thanks to especially like Naoto, like he likes children apparently. So uh, like they're just trying to help these kids. And like we see, of course, Mashiro is like slowly becomes integrated into the group, and he kind of lightens up to these children as well. And we even see like a Christmas party where like Mashiro was supposed to dress up as as the Santa Claus for these kids, but Naoto also dresses up as Santa and stuff like that. So again, that's basically their whole deal as a group. And of course, like they do have their individual desires. Now, I'm not really sure about like Seiya and Midoriko's desire for them becoming number one. They don't really say it, but Misaki has a clearer objective as to why she became Goju Unicorn, and she is trying to look for the person who killed her family. So that's her deal in the battle is. Now, like it kind of seems similar when you look at Naoto as well, but we'll get into that later. Now, he basically wants to be strong to protect everyone because he lost his father at a young age. So again, Misaki and Naoto are kind of similar in what they want to do. Again, but the clear distinction is Misaki is looking for the person who killed her family, and Naoto is trying to become stronger because he wasn't able to protect his father when he was young. So, interestingly, Naoto's father, a police officer, was played by Hiroshi Watari, aka Sharivan. So he's also a legend in the tokusatsu industry. Like in Metal Heroes, especially. But he was also in Bokenger as the father of Boken Silver. So that's an interesting note as well. So, of course, enemies come out. So apparently, like the calamities, also uh, not necessarily appear, but definitely like those fallen foot soldiers from various Super Sentai. So they began to attack, and the Gojujers have to come together in order to protect everyone basically. Now, like we kind of skip forward into the battle, and Naoto comes in basically, and he is carrying the black version of the Orca booster. So it so Naoto basically is shown to us as the main villain of the story. And he uses the power of the Orca booster, and his Goju Tyranno suit is corrupted and, you know, like transforms into a more monstrous version of itself. And he, of course, attacks everyone. Now, he initially like attacks Midoriko, but Misaki comes in to save her, and after that, he also attacks Aoto as well. So, in the resulting chaos, Misaki and Misaki, Aoto, and Midoriko, well, they're lost. So, they did not survive the attack, or what it may seem. But we'll get into that later. So, of course, being the only one left, so Mashiro has no choice but he has to be the one to defeat Naoto, which he does, of course. And with that, all of the rings, kind well at that point, so all of the Gojuju rings now are in Mashiro's possession. So it also turns out that Naoto was the one who killed Misaki's family. Now, this is kind of like a more complicated situation. Like, Naoto wasn't really uh, the one who did. Like, he was, but he was apparently under the control of the Calamities. Now, none of them directly appear in this like special, again, other than the foot soldiers from various Sentai, that again they were representative of like the death, if they were the four horsemen basically. So again, Naoto, having been controlled by the Calamities, so he again he did the crime against against Misaki. And yeah, he was actually like so uh kind of like he couldn't get over the fact over what happened to his dad, and it let him, or he let it control him. He let those emotions control him, therefore making him susceptible to control by the Calamities, and therefore he uh you know he caused all this trouble for the Gojoogers. Now, in the end, he did apologize to Mashiro, and telling him like it's all up to you now. And after this, most likely, so this is like again, he Mashiro didn't really automatically win the ring war at that point, but maybe after that, so he continued collecting the rest of the Sentai rings, and again, he eventually won the ring war, and he got his wish. However, uh, apparently, so with after defeating after defeating Naoto, so Mashiro hears like a faint voice in the back. So, like a faint groaning sound. It turns out that Midoriko actually survived thanks to Misaki protecting her. Of course, having been severely injured by Naoto's attack, so she would no longer be able to continue fighting as Goju Eagle, and therefore she is basically disqualified from the ring war. In fact, before dying, Misaki hands Mashiro both the Goju Unicorn and Goju Eagle rings, knowing full well that Midoriko, would be unable to continue as a Gojuger at that point. So, uh, again, this is how Mashiro obtains all of the Gojuger rings, and probably later on, again, like the rest of the Sentai rings as well. Now, we skip back to the present, and again, Mashiro is looking at this news of a young woman winning the Nobel Peace Prize. This turns out to be the adult Midoriko. So, adult Midoriko is played by Kasumi Hasegawa, who you may remember as Morphonia in Osama Sentai King Oger. So, she is Rita Kaniska's right hand woman, I guess. So yeah, so it's also nice to see another Super Sentai veteran actress return to the franchise. But again, Midoriko uh, is already an adult, but she doesn't remember anything about the ring war. After basically like what happened is we could say like there's been like kind of a reset, but Midoriko survives, but definitely the three others still remain, well, dead. So what is interesting about this, you know, like flashback, you could say, is that uh, we also see the origins of Byakuma. So, of course, Byakuma is like Goju Polar's like personal weapon, but also like a sentient assistant. So, like when Goju Polar was introduced, so Byakuma is of course introduced as a sentient toy that Mashiro gave life to, apparently. And it turns out that Byakuma was a toy that Mashiro supposedly gave Midoriko as a Christmas present during that Christmas party that I've mentioned. So, uh, as kind of like a memento, well, at that point, Mashiro thought that Midoriko did not survive Naoto's attack. So, like, he picked up Byakuma and, like, he kept Byakuma as some sort of remembrance uh, for Midoriko. But again, like I mentioned, Midoriko survived, and now she's grown up, and again, like she has done great things, even though she was no longer a Gojuger. So again, she ended up winning a Nobel Peace Prize, like I've said. So again, uh, we uh, we now know how Byakuma came to be. However, he does not remember anything about Midoriko, but he does feel something nostalgic about her at the very least. So, again, there's that connection between them, or that supposed connection, you know. So, again, like in the modern day, so Mashiro is suddenly, or there was suddenly like an attack, and Mashiro comes in, right? Uh, and we also see the appearance of the current Gojujers, uh, and while they were about to battle the enemies, I believe it's some sort of like number one monster, a no one monster. uh like before battling that no one monster, so like on Mashiro's side, like the spirits of the previous Gojujers appear to kind of like guide him. Well, at least for me, Doriko, despite technically being still alive, so that child version appears to guide him, and they end up battling the enemy, and that's where the story ends. So again, this is basically like a TV sized version of you know what happened to Mashiro, and again, like they did skip a lot of parts, like only focusing on the relationship between Mashiro and the other original Gojujers. I think that was the very point of the side story, right? Again, they didn't really focus on the other universe warriors other than like the universe Abared that Mashiro defeated at the beginning. So other than that, again, it was very much focused on the original Gojujers at that time, and again, like how Mashiro ended up being the sole winner. Now, again, we did not really see that because upon defeating Naoto and all of the other Gojuger rings are in Mashiro's possession, he did not automatically win. So again, we can say that the ring war hasn't technically been finished yet because the rest of the Universe Warriors are still out there. So again, like Mashiro winning is like a story after that, we can say. But with this side story, like we see more clearly like Mashiro's motivations as to why he's fighting uh, as Goju Polar again. Uh, instead of I do understand like they Toei had to introduce a sixth ranger, therefore instead of having Mashiro return as Goju Wolf, he was changed into Goju Polar. But yeah, Mashiro had his reasons as to why he would never again work with Sword, I guess. And he ended up creating Gudeburn eventually, or rather, he ended up like partnering with Gudeburn, to be more precise about that. But yeah, again, like it's definitely like focused on that relationship between Mashiro and the rest of the original Gojoojers instead of you know like other stuff. But like I also would have liked seeing like how Naoto came into possession of the Orca booster, but again to save time they just showed him like he already had the Orca booster, and he transformed into like evil Goju Tyranno, and that's what Toei tried to do. But overall, the story was okay. Now, biggest flaw in this story: Kohaku Shida's appearance in this side story. So yes, Kohaku Shida is the Sumino at this point, and she's still like superimposed, meaning that this project was also affected by the Maya Gate scandal. So apparently, even that project wasn't safe. Maya Imamori also apparently was in that project, you know, but they had to scrap her footage and, uh, you know, superimpose Kohaku onto that. And it clearly shows. But other than that, again, it was definitely again, at least it answers like a lot of questions about Mashiro and his role as Goju Polar, and yeah, it's definitely a good watch if you are especially a Mashiro fan. Basically, if you want to know more about Mashiro's motivations, so I would say I'm gonna give Polar Beginning a 3.5 out of 5. Like, again, I understand like they're focusing on this dynamic between Mashiro and the original Gojoojers, but there are some more details that I would have liked to see. Like, I want more out of the original Gojoojers and what they're doing individually. Like, this could benefit from like maybe at least 10 episodes if we want to see more. But yeah, they're just basically doing it like a side story, one off. Uh, but that's just me. So, in any case, yeah, it's good, but it's not really mind blowing. But you would really care about Mashiro, and like you would understand his reasons why he's fighting. So anyways, that's it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!